All right, if you've been following this saga, we just got our 4th turbo in to try to replace the turbo on this engine. We've had a horrible string of luck with getting parts from suppliers. Let's see if we can make this thing work. Well, they just shipped us another turbo. This is the one that was his original turbo that he sent in to have remanned. They sent it to us. It was no good. We sent it back. They weren't going to give him a refund. Actually, he bought a turbo from them. It was the wrong turbo when it came. And then they said, we got to remand yours. So he sent his in to have it remanned. Then we got it back and it was no good, had the wrong sensor. They sent us another sensor. It was the wrong sensor again. And then when we put the turbo on, it was bad. I could jiggle the compressor and it would actually touch the housing on it, which it wasn't like that. The turbo was not bad when we sent it into them. So we sent it back in. Then they said it needed a new cartridge. When they remanded it, they had to get a new cartridge for it and then send it back out. So this is technically this is the 3rd time we've got a turbo back from this company here. And they told us it shipped with no sensor. So we know it does not have a sensor in it, so we'll have to install a sensor to be able to put it on. So before we put that new 4th turbo on, we're going to try to put a sensor in the 3rd one that is a genuine Detroit reman that came in. But it had this sensor in it. This sensor is bent. It's dinged up. It's got all these little ping marks on it. It's got scrapes on it. It's got like a crease on it, and it's severely bent. This came out of the brand new reman turbo. So did they put this bad sensor in a reman turbo, or did something happen inside the turbo to bend it like this? I can't imagine that somebody at a reman facility would put this sensor in there, but this is what it came in and it was not working. This is a variable geometry turbo. It has to have the input reading from this sensor in order to work. Well, after replacing the turbo 3 times, we have a new turbo sensor to go in. The last turbo sensor was just completely damaged and bent and terrible when we took it out of there on the brand new turbo. It makes no sense. We're going to go ahead and try to align the hole for the turbo for the sensor. We're going to use an inspection camera down in there, get it way down in there and make sure it's lined up perfectly centered. We have a new sensor that company that sold us this turbo has sent us. So we're going to drop this new sensor in there once the hole is perfectly lined up and pray that everything works. Backup scenario, there is a number 4 turbo coming today. But the number 4 turbo does not have a sensor in it. So we'll have to put this sensor in it if that does happen. So we can't have the sensor get damaged. So whatever damaged that last one, they're just got to pray that it's not from the something happening inside there. So put this in, hopefully it'll work. We don't have to change the turbo again. As a brand new reman, Detroit reman turbo. So it should be good. But why the sensor's not working, we'll have no idea. When the sensor goes in, there's a little alignment hole that it must go into, and it is going all the way down in there, but it's not going in the hole. Yeah, inside the turbo, you see that's misaligned there. It needs to drop inside that hole. That shaft spins in the middle there. The outer part does spin too, a little, not when it's not supposed to, but it does. It is movable. So we need to move it and try and get it centered. So when the sensor slides in from the top, it's perfectly aligned for the tip of it to go through that penetration, that little hole there. None of this is visible to the naked eye too. We got to use an inspection camera at a weird angle to even get in there and see where the sensor goes. So we're going to do our best. So if I hold the camera and then let you get the pick tool. Can you see it good there, or do you need me to move it? Trying to get the pick started in there. I think they're both fitting in there. Yeah, we have to get that outer collar exactly aligned for the tip of that sensor to drop in between it. This is very difficult.
Moves a lot. That thing moves a lot for something that's not supposed to move. I mean, just center does, I think, get it.
I think it needs to be centered up more though. It's like down too far to the bottom. It needs to go up.
I don't think it moves that way. If it moves that way, I can't push it that way. I can only turn it, not slide it. Because I'm putting pressure on it right now, it's not moving. I can only go like this way, not this way.
Okay, so I'll try to get it a little more to the right. If we spin it internally, it doesn't really move it, or
No, not until you fire it
high
up,
speed turn.
which I think is what hit the sensor.
Stick that camera in there a little bit better. It looks. Pull it back just a hair. I don't think it's centered at all. I don't know how to center it. All right, so I think we got it. Here's a straight shot looking straight down the hole there, and it does look like it's centered. So we're putting the new sensor in, then we're going to test it out. So previously, as soon as we would rev the engine up, the check engine light would come on, and then there would be a code for no turbo speed input RPM rating on there. And there would be no visible RPM listed next to it in the data either. So let's fire it up here, and let's hope that we have no check engine light and that we're getting an RPM reading. No code yet. Let me go to the diagnostic list. Turbo RPM is registering. Yeah, no checking engine light, nothing. Boost is registering, turbo RPM is registering. I did not want to install that fourth turbo since it was the third time that company was sending us something and they messed it up 3 other times and had to rebuild it and send us the wrong. I just didn't want to deal with them. I'm hoping he's stuck with it now. He's got an extra turbo. I just didn't have a lot of faith and confidence in this. I really felt that Detroit reman was going to be the better one, even though it came with a bad sensor. We're going to take it for a test drive now, and I said I really don't want to have to install that one. Look how far somebody went off our driveway here.
Oh. Is that a bus?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, I mean, look how far that rock sticks out at the top
Do
there.
you know which customer?
I don't know.
I know I was way not near that.
Does it feel the same as yours or way different?
It's different. The seat, the seat, the steering wheel is just
You want
different.
to turn the air down?
Yeah.
That's fine. You can just leave it off. We're not going far. So the seat feels totally different?
Yeah, just the driving seating position.
More comfortable or
Yeah,
just different?
yeah, really. I feel more like I'm in a cockpit rather than sitting on all my stuff,
Yeah.
And visually, I feel like I've got more
Visibility?
more visibility because I look through I have a slider here, and I look through this crack
Yeah.
where his window is solid there, which is really nice. I don't much mind the wheelie ball deal, but it's kind of big. I just looked, it was 2,600 miles. 13 one way.
George just got back this morning from a trip in his bus to the Keys. He also has a 45-foot Crave, but it's an XL series.
That's full pedal. I think it already shifted a second.
Yeah, we're up to 30 psi of boost on the turbo there.
There's another line needs to move. Give it one more good when you're ready.
Yeah, you're good. That's to the floor?
Just to the floor. My gauge is showing pegged at 30.
Yeah, we're a little over 30, almost 31.
No weird smoke up the back. Not anything weird going on. Still on the floor.
I mean, it's a great big heavy bus, but it moves. It accelerates the whole time. And
Oh yeah.
I need more big trucks parked on the square. It's like threading the needle.
Crew cab long days.
Everybody with trailer hitches sticking out. Yeah, we're getting a lot of really good data. The turbo boost there you can see is over 30. And then it's interesting, you can see the air inlet temperature and then the turbo, how much the turbo is heating up the air as it compresses it. Make sure you give him the thank you. Oh, his steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car.
He's got a mail stick on the back. I didn't know Toyota had that.
Yeah. That annoying beeping noise is a carbon monoxide detector in the rear bedroom with a low battery. 28, 27,
I'm on the 55 mile an hour.
29, 29.6, 30, 30.3 was the most I saw there. That's good. Let's climb the steep hill here on the property and see what it does. 30.4 was the highest I saw in the boost.
Good reach. Just a second.
Yeah, I don't hate when they do that.
So on gas too. Let's see here. Do you want me to pull him in?
Yeah, we'll just nose him in because his electric comes from back over here. So. Okay, everything looks good on the turbo here. I checked down here. There's no oil leaks coming from the drain or anything on it. I checked the sensor up here. There's no oil leak by it. The turbo oil feed line is not leaking at all. So yeah, the turbo looks really good on there. It survived the test drive real well. I think we're finally good to go with that. Yeah, this bus had been here for like 6 weeks because of this turbo issue. Having to wait and get them. It's such a rare turbo. It's very unusual. It's not popular at all. The variable geometry on it, you know, that it changes the pitch on it and everything. And it just, man, that was just a nightmare. And then I had some health issues here recently. I've been dealing with kidney stones the last few months. Finally, I thought I was going to pass them. Finally went into the doctor, had to go in for surgery. They were 1.5 centimeters. So I'm just getting back to work myself here. It's been really crazy around here. But thank goodness this one's done and going to go home soon.